What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. How come all the YouTube channels leave it to me to talk about the difficult shit? So, I haven't really heard anyone else talking about this, so I will break the news. This will probably be news to a lot of people who don't know what's going on. But Ray Beltran, longtime sparring partner of Manny Pacquiao, he did a lot of work in the wild card gym with Pacquiao, Freddie Roach. He's very familiar with them. But he just tested positive for an anabolic steroid in his last fight. Now, I'm going to give you guys the details and give my thoughts on it. And I just got to say it's disappointing, man. These failed drug tests, it's getting ridiculous. Between the UFC and boxing, it's like, I see why Floyd Mayweather was requesting a clean sport years ago, and he got shitted on for doing it. But I'm old fashioned, man, and I think it's unfortunate. Actually, let me tell you what happened, and then I'll get to more of my thoughts and personal feelings about it. So Ray Beltran, per the Nevada State Athletic Commission, his drug test came back for his last bout that took place May 1st in Las Vegas, and he failed it with an anabolic steroid named stanozolol. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Why do these drugs always have these like difficult ass names? But anyway, it's an anabolic steroid. It was in his system. Now he faces possible fines and suspension and the regular protocol. Now, this is just off the heels of John Molina, who fought Broner. He tested positive. His wasn't an anabolic steroid, I don't believe, but it was a banned substance. And it's just, man, it just paints a bad image on the sport, because if I'm not mistaken, this was supposed to be True TV's first show with Top Rank True TV. And this was, I believe, the first show. If not, it was one of the first shows. And then your main event tests positive. Now, what I really feel bad for is the opponent. He knocked his opponent out in 2 rounds. And to make that even more fucked up, he missed weight. This was supposed to be a title fight. He missed weight. And as a result of missing weight, he was no longer eligible to get the belt that was on the line against the Japanese opponent, right? And they continued with the fight, and he knocked the dude out. So missed weight, no longer eligible for a title shot. You knock dude out in 2 rounds, and then to top it off, you test positive. So, I mean, something's got to give. I mean, I don't know exactly. According to Cameron Duncan, his manager, he didn't know, he wasn't aware. And I'm going to give some of my thoughts on this. Like I said, shout out to his opponent. I forgot how to pronounce his name. It's like Takahiro. And I just feel bad for them guys. Now, what makes it worse is that he was supposed to fight again June 27th against Humberto Soto. Now, Humberto Soto was just on the Canelo Kirkland undercard against Freddie Roach's fighter. And at the weigh-in, Freddie Roach's fighter came in like 7 pounds heavy. So that fight got scrapped, and Humberto Soto got paid a small portion of what he was supposed to make. His fight got canceled, and he didn't get to fight on the Canelo Kirkland undercard. Then he was supposed to fight Ray Beltran, and I'm like, that's a good fight. Humberto Soto, Ray Beltran. I covered it on my channel, and now that fight's not taking place. And then on top of that, Humberto Soto has some kind of knee injury, so now his replacement to Ray Beltran, he can't even fight him. So it's just a string of unfortunate events and different things, especially with Humberto Soto. Like I said, he was supposed to be on the Canelo undercard versus Kirkland. His opponent didn't make weight. Then he was supposed to fight Ray Beltran. He tests positive. Then they get a sub in and a replacement opponent, and Humberto Soto hurts his knee now. So now he's not fighting. So it's a lot of craziness happening in boxing right now. But as far as Ray Beltran, I got a chance to meet him. I went to the Terrence Crawford versus Ray Beltran fight. He seemed like a cool dude and down to earth and everything. So it's just unfortunate. And like I said, I just feel bad for the opponents. The opponent, like, you know what I mean? You have to get knocked out, and then to find out later, because you can't take a knockout back. You know what I mean? Some people don't recover from knockouts. It's not like you like, oh, they can make it a no contest, but it doesn't change the fact that you physically got knocked out. And that's, you know what I mean, an image, or that's something psychologically that you're going to have to live with and deal with. And to find out your person like tested positive for something, I just think that's foul. Everybody should be on a clean, even playing field. And it's just crazy to think that these are the things that happen in boxing. And it just kind of taints, because anytime you get caught up in something like this, people start questioning, like, how many, like, did Terrence Crawford beat Ray Beltran on some kind of anabolic steroid? Not that he did, because I don't know. There's no way to prove it, because he obviously passed that drug test. But I'm saying that's the type of black cloud that kind of hangs over you. Like guys like Shane Mosley, that got busted for EPO, Margarito with the gloves and different things like that. Now people don't know which wins to credit you for. So it's kind of always that asterisk over your wins. Ray Beltran, and I'm not trying to act like I'm Nostradamus, but I did remember seeing him in recent memory, and he just looked fuller. He looked bigger, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but he just looked big. Like when I seen him at the weigh-in for the Crawford fight, he looked pretty sliced up. And then his most recent, I just remember him looking pretty big, like bigger. And I knew he moved up in weight, so I'm like, okay, maybe that's it. But he just looked a lot fuller, a lot bigger than I had seen him in the past. Here's a side-by-side picture that you guys can see. He just looked bigger. Like I always remember him looking not as big as like Pacquiao. And then when I start seeing him in his most recent weigh-ins, he looked pretty big. So, I mean, who knows? Like I said, hope he gets his stuff together with Ray Beltran. A lot of people ask me fitness questions and steroid type questions. So I'm going to do a dedicated video about steroids, the benefits, the adverse effects, especially as it relates to boxing and fighting. But it's unfortunate, man, because when you make decisions like this, it's not only affecting you, it's affecting other people like Humberto Soto and other people, you know what I mean, the dude you knocked out, the Japanese dude and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, I really don't condone any kind of cheating, and I think it's just unfortunate. That's the best way to put it. Now the thing is, this is the thing. A lot of fighters get caught or get busted, test positive or whatnot, and nobody ever just I don't recall a time where someone tests positive and they just like came clean and said, you know what? Oh shit, I'm busted, caught red-handed. I was doing stuff. My bad. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's not realistic for most people to just admit it, because they, you know what I mean, they don't want to face fines and stuff like that. But I don't think I've ever really heard anyone just come clean like, I'm busted. You know what I mean? So I just find it a bit hard to believe that you can have an anabolic steroid in your body and have no type of knowledge. Like, I understand if someone on your team gave you some shit and you didn't know, but I mean, I just know enough about fitness and what steroids does to your body. I just have a hard time feeling, even if it's just like if I went to a bar and some fine chick was trying to roofie me or something like that and slip me a Mickey and slip something in my drink, roofies, like I might not know what happened to me, but I know I don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the same thing with anabolic steroids. If you know what it actually does to your body, and I'm going to try to make some videos about this, but if you knew what it actually did to your body, I just have a hard time understanding or believing that somebody has anabolic steroid flowing through their veins and in their body and they just had no concept of it, or at least feeling like, you know what, I feel funny, something's up. You know what I mean? It just, like I said, I just know too much about nutrition and fitness. I feel like there would be some kind of indication or red flag, especially with the burst of energy and strength that you get. I knew a dude, I used to work with this dude. He was on, I know a lot of people, not that I just kick with roid heads, but I know a lot of people that have used steroids. I've never personally did it. But I know a lot of people that have used it at different points, and it does stuff to your emotions. People have mood swings. That's why they come out with the term roid rage. I knew a dude that I used to work with that he would do it. Like, he was open about it. I mean, maybe because I'm a cool cat or whatever, and he just felt cool with me. But he would tell me how he shot it in his ass and different stuff like that, and what it gave. He would kind of tell me the experience that he got from it. And he was at work. It was weird because we used to work at Best Buy, and he was the person at the Best Buy door that just checks the merchandise and the receipt to make sure everything looks copacetic before you leave. He was that dude, that security or whatever, and he was on roids, right? And he was telling me, he was like, yeah, he said he had just shot up. I guess before he came to work, he went to the gym and he had shot up or whatever. And he had worked out hours before. He's at work at the little podium at Best Buy, and he says he still feels it. Like he said, he still felt in his vein. Like he said, he wants to do something. Like he couldn't just stand at the podium. He felt restless. Like he had so much energy. And he felt like contained or confined almost. You know what I mean? Little things like that. And those are common like attributes or common side effects or feelings when you're doing anabolic steroids. That's why it's very hard for me to believe that people are just taking stuff and they have no knowledge. And the other thing is this, and again, you're guilty until proven innocent. This is just my personal opinion. The other thing I'm going to say is this, is if that is the case, then you should really question your team and your decision making, because like, I mean, I don't even see why you would, unbeknownst to you, why your team would even set you up like that. You know what I mean? Knowing that at the end of the day, you know what I mean, you're paying them or whatever for their services. And again, if those are the people on your team, then you should reassess your decision making skills. Like, why would someone do like that? Like, I would consider your team supposed to be like your family, extended family, friends, something. So why would your team set you up for failure? That's kind of how I look at it. You have somebody on your team that's knowingly doping you, and they just don't warn you. They don't tell you what, like, the danger, you know what I'm saying, what you're going to be up against. That just sounds, like I said, I'm not trying to sound pessimistic. It just sounds very, very hard for me to believe that you're, you know what I'm saying? And again, unless your team's full of rats, snakes, and vultures, I just don't see why your team is gonna do that to you. Like, yeah, I'm gonna give him this extra boost and hope he don't get caught. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's the case, then your team has to know you're gonna get caught, unless you're doing certain things to flush the presence of steroids out of your system. But if they don't know they're on steroids, then they're not going to be doing those things. Like, there's different ways, I'm telling you guys, you can mask the presence of steroids by giving them other supplements and other like diuretics, and it kind of acts as a masking agent, so it no longer becomes traceable. That's kind of when it gets into the Mimo Heredia stuff that he was saying he was doing, how it's like all chemistry and scientific different things that wash out the other, neutralize the presence of steroids. You know what I'm saying? And if you're into that industry, then you know exactly what products to take with what products. You know what I mean? I'm trying to give you guys the best possible example. But point being is this, is if your team is feeding you, doping you, and you don't know about it, then you're definitely going to fail, because they're not going to, like, you know what I'm saying? You're not taking any kind of precautions to hide it because you don't even know you're on anything. So just an unfortunate situation. Let me know what you guys think. Ray Beltran and doping. Like I said, I'm going to do some more steroid related videos to give you guys a little bit more insight on what drugs do, how it benefits fighters, etc. Make sure you like my video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.